Hello everyone. I hope you are all well, and welcome back to something that nobody cares about. Okay, Plants vs. Zombies. Love the game. It is just about the only game that I play on my iPad. Now, I'm a Plants vs. Zombies purist. I don't like Plants vs. Zombies 2 or any other rendition. I like the OG PVZ Plants vs. Zombies, circa 2008. I think. So today I wanted to jump on here and make a video that's a little bit easier to make while I'm in the process of a bigger one. Also Plants vs. Zombies related. So we are gonna do a good old-fashioned tier list. I heart Screencastify. Okay. Alright. That is not, this is what I was talking about. This ugly ass Plants vs. Zombies 2. That literally is horrifying. I hate it. I just want the, thank you. What the hell? I would like to make another tier. Also, I hope you like my Dolphins t-shirt.
Bruh.
My aquatic mammals / animals t-shirt. I think it slays. Why is my Mavs zone trying to open? What the fuck? Go Mavs. I wanted to add a row below. See, this is just, I'm so good at this. I'm just such an epic gamer. Yeah, okay. And Verbo's playing an ad. It's exactly what I wanted. Okay, gamers. That is... Yeah, I'm so good at this. Okay, we've got our tiers. We've got S, A, B, C, D, F, and trash. So like I said beforehand, we are going to start out with Blover. Now, Blover is interesting because it's useful in fog levels and any level that requires that has the balloon zombies. However, you can also use a Plantern to get rid of fog, and you can use the cactus to get rid of the balloon zombies along with the cattail. Now, I like Blover. I think that it is one of the most helpful plants during the fog levels. The Planterns are okay, but they're hard to defend, and it leaves less spaces for attack plants. And the cacti is just more expensive. Blover is only 100 sun. So right now is my change. I'm going to put it in B. It's going to go in B tier. Next, we've got the Cabbage Pult, and I love these. They deal 40 damage versus 20 that the Kernel Pult deals. They are really good in those beginning roof levels. I'm going to go ahead and put this in A tier. Cactus, I'm going to go ahead and put it in C. I don't really have any thoughts on that. Now, cattails. This might be kind of controversial, but I love cattails. I know they're expensive, and let's see what their recharge time is, because I think it's slow. Yeah, it's very slow. However, those things shoot rapid fire, and they can focus on any zombie in any lane. And for that reason, it's going to be my first S. I think that's an S tier product, baby. Next is Cherry Bomb. I never really use these. I use these in the early levels when I have to, but I don't find myself reaching for them. And I would use a cactus over that, so I'm going to go ahead and put this in D. Chomper is a difficult one for me. I was on the Plants vs. Zombies wiki researching a different video that I have teased like 6 times, and I'm not even very far into this. But on that wiki, I saw a lot of Chomper hate, which surprised me. I was very, very surprised with all the Chomper hate, And then I saw a lot of Chomper defenders on the flip side, so it's getting controversial up in the Plants vs. Zombies wiki. For me personally, I really don't like how long it takes to recharge, and it takes so long to chew up a zombie that you gotta have really good defensive plants. And I don't really like using the the pumpkin. Why doesn't it have a cooler name? Why is it just pumpkin? Sidetrack. Anyway, so for me, Chomper is not something I find myself reaching towards. It's kind of in the same vein as a Cherry Bomb for me, so I'm going to go ahead and stick that in D. Next, I've got the Cob Cannon. This is going in straight up F. I don't find myself using this. Hey, Tucker.
Yeah?
Will you close my door?
Yeah.
Thank.
No.
I'm doing something.
Come on, let's go see. I need the shower again.
That's fine. I already showered. What was I saying? Yeah. Anyways, Cob Cannon is going in straight up F. I don't use it ever. And maybe I should. Maybe I'm not a very good gamer. Maybe I'm not a very good epic gamer for that, but I never fucking use it. And it costs... How much does it cost? Let me go look. Let me go find it. I've got my little reference chart up here. I just knocked my computer. My B. Stop. Cob Cannon. How much does this sucker... First of all, it costs 20,000 coins. And I don't know how much sun it costs, but way too much. I remember from the first time I played this game through. So that's going in straight up F. Coffee Bean... I don't find myself using it often. Certainly not, it's not going above B. I think it's going to have to go in D. I don't really ever use mushrooms in daytime levels unless I'm trying to beat the No Fungus Among Us achievement. So that's going to go ahead and stay in D. Now the Doom Shroom, I like it in the levels where it picks your plants for you and it just kind of runs through the top of that little conveyor belt. But I don't like that it leaves a crater. I think it's a little too nuclear for me. I think it's going to go in D too. Now, the pot, it's necessary. It's a classic. That's just going to go in B because you got to use it, but it doesn't do a whole lot for you. But it can sometimes be a good filler if you're like, "Oh damn, that zombie's about to hit my sunflower. Let me just put that shorty down so I can give myself some time." Now, the Fume Shroom. This is something that Whoops. The Fume Shroom was something that I used to actually really hate, and I've come around on this. I am going to go ahead and stick this sucker in B. Normally this would have been an F tier for me, but I started playing the game again recently, as you'll see in another video, and I love how they go through the screen door and they only cost 75 sun. That's pretty cheap, and they hit every zombie within those 4 squares. They can hit more than one at once, which is really nice for those damn pole vault zombies. Next up is garlic. So I use garlic occasionally. It's usually in levels when I'm trying to save sun. That way I don't have to put as many plants in one lane, or I'm protecting my 3-peaters. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in C. It's not one I reach for often, but you know, it does its job. It does what it does. The Gatling Pea. Let's see here. It has a really slow recharge, but it does its job. I like it for what it is. I don't like how long it takes to recharge because you can't get a ton. And I'm big on symmetry in my games. I know that might be a weird thing to say, but I'm big on symmetry. So if I can't plant the same amount on each side, it bothers me. So I think I'm going to go ahead and put I'm going to go ahead and put this guy in C. Because when I use it, I like it, but I really dislike how much sun I have to use. The Gloom Shroom, I've only ever had it useful in one of the achievements that I was trying to beat. I don't really have any scenarios where I'm like itching for it, and you know, it's got a really slow recharge. I'm gonna go ahead and put this in D. This magnet shroom is going, this gold magnet is going in straight up trash. I think that all the plants that just serve a purpose to collect coins are dumb. I understand, like, oh, you gotta, alright, sorry, my thing cut out, hold on a second here. I think that the plants that exist for the purpose of collecting coins are dumb. And then you don't be like, oh, oh, Hayden, like, the mini games, I gotta buy them. And it's like, well, you can just buy the coins for $1.99. Or you can be really baller at just picking up the coins. You don't gotta waste your mother freaking your limited spaces on this nonsense, okay? So that's going in straight up trash, and I won't hear no criticism. Thank you. Grave Buster. Now, this might be controversial, but I'm gonna stick it in good old A. I think this is an A tier plant. I really like Grave Busters. The levels that have graves can be really fucking annoying, and they keep popping up. This bad boy only costs 75 sun, and he recharges really fast, and I think it's a really efficient use of sun. That way you don't get friggin' effed over in those final levels. So I'm keeping that bad boy in A. Hypno Shroom is going in B for me. I think it can be useful sometimes, but when I have low slots in those early night levels, I don't love wasting it with this. I think this is really helpful for the football zombies and the disco zombies. Other than that, though, I could give or take. I am having a stroke. I could go without it. Next up is the Ice Shroom. I like this one a lot. It comes in really clutch in Dr. Zomboss's Revenge, and in those early, why can't I talk? In those early night levels, the late night levels, oh my lord. It's really helpful to slow down those stupid football zombies, or I can freeze the disco zombies before they can even uprise their little friggin' evil minions. So I think that's gonna go in, I don't think it can be in the same tier as the Hypno Shroom, but I don't think it's an A tier, so I'm actually gonna move Hypno Shroom down to C tier. Okay, I'm liking where this is going. Imitator is going into straight up S, because it can be any plant you want. I love this. I use it all the time, especially when I'm trying to hit achievements, because I can do this for the sunflowers or the seeing stars. And if you have a plant that's got a really slow recharge time, you just slap that bad boy in your lineup, and now you got double trouble. S+. The only thing I don't like is it takes forever to spin around and change into something, if that makes sense. Sometimes I'll be like, oh, I need my chili pepper right now, and it like turns and my zombie eats it and I just wasted it, so that's kind of unfortunate. And speaking of the chili peppers, this one's good in the mini games. I think I like it when I don't have to spend my sun on it and the recharge is too slow, so I think that's just going to go in C. Now this might be controversial. Colonel Polt? I'm putting that in A, baby. I'm putting that in A. I lied. I'm putting it in S. I think this is an S tier plant. And let me explain why. So it has the same amount of damage as a regular P, 20 points, as I said earlier, but the butter has 40 damage and it freezes a zombie. And you might be like, why wouldn't you just use a Snow Pea then? Snow Pea only has 20 damage, and it slows, excuse me, hold on. Sorry, I got so fired up. Talking about my Colonel Bolt. Anyways, I like that the butter slows down the zombie, but it freezes it temporarily and it deals more damage. I think it's good in the roof levels, but I also just like it in a classic daytime or nighttime level. I can really use this at any time. Once I've completed adventure, I find this in my lineup almost every single time. Classic pea shooter, I'm going B. It's the one that started it all. You can amplify it with your torchwood. You can get an arsenal up really quick because they only cost 100 and they've got a really fast recharge time. I think those are classic, going right in B. Lily Pad is going in B tier for the same reasons as the plant. Excuse me, that was gross. I didn't want you to hear my snot. You got to use it during the water levels. You can get around it, but, it's difficult. So I think it's going in there for the same reason as the pots. It doesn't really have any of its own defense, but it helps raise up other plants. Magnet Shroom? This might be controversial, but I don't really love Magnet Shrooms. I can get through most of the levels without them. I don't find myself using them a lot. Again, it's really when I'm trying to beat achievements and I want to cut down on the amount of plants on the board and save sun. So I'm going to stick that in C. I understand its value, but it's just not for me. Marigold is going in straight up trash. Same reason as Gold Magnet. It's cute in your Zen garden, but I've literally never used that. Literally never use it. Even the coin achievements, I don't even need it. Ooh, a big ass wasp just flew by my window. That's icky. Okay. All right. Ooh, melon pulse. I am going to go ahead and stick that in A, if it'll let me. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and stick that in A. I like that you can upgrade it with the winter melon, and kind of the same reasons why I put cabbage pulse in A. I think they're just a really good plant. Once you've got like a ton of sun going and you can be earning a ton of those, you can be planting these bad boys left and right. Only reason it's not an S tier is because I'm just not feeling it. It's not on the same level as those other ones that are up in S tier for me. And, you know, at the beginning of the game, I can't plant a whole lot. Those are kind of like second flag type plants. So that's why it's going to go ahead and stay in A. Plantern. I don't really like planterns. I use them before I got Blover in the nighttime levels. I think it's going to go in F for me. I just don't really use it, and I don't totally see its purpose. Potato Mine. Sorry for my sniffling. Potato Mine is going to go in D. I use it sometimes. I typically use it when I want to slow something down with a walnut and backload a bunch of zombies, and once they eat through it, that bad boy is there to just get them all. But I don't really use that strategy a lot. That's more in the daytime levels or if I'm trying to hit achievements. And it's usually not in like my big lineup, so I'm just going to go ahead and stick that in D. Oh man. The Puff Shroom, that is going in S right now. Straight to S. And let me tell you why. That thing costs 0. And you might be like, Hayden, you can't even use it during the daytime levels. Au contraire, mon frère. You don't even have to wake that bad boy up. If you just need a body to slow a zombie down, that thing costs 0. It's a free defense. And you're like, okay, it only lasts 5 seconds. So what? By that time, it'll like already be charged again. That thing is an S+. When I play the nighttime levels, that is... I only need like 4 plants because that bad boy is right freaking there. That's my homie. That's my ride or die. Anyways, Puff Shroom. Appreciation. This is a really good heart. Look at that. Wow. Slay. Slay the house. All right. Pumpkin. Again, the name is so boring. This game has so many like clever little quips. And I don't understand why they couldn't come up with something more clever. I really only use this in Call 'em Like You See 'Em. And that's mostly because I have to. This is honestly going to go in F for me. It's not like trash tier, but I never use it. It's like rarely in my lineup. Repeater is going to go in A for me. I think it's a little bit more elevated than its regular old pea shooter counterpart. Plus, when you got a lot of sun going, you can just plant these bad boys like nobody's business, and that opens you up to use that Gatling pea that we mentioned earlier. I don't know, this one's kind of a classic for me too. I find myself using this in the pool level a lot, behind my sunflowers, and usually that can keep me from getting attacked by those damn scuba zombies and those dolphin rider zombies. I hate them so much. Up next we have Scaredy Shroom. I think I'm going to put these in B. I kind of feel similarly to them, like how I did about Puff Shroom. They're really cheap and they do their job really well. The only problem is they don't, like, you know, when a zombie gets in their perimeter, they like shrink down and get scared. So if you have them in the middle and a zombie, like if you have them, you know, in a top row, if you have them in 3 rows and a zombie walks up this row, all 3 of these are out of commission. And then you're just screwed. You're just fricked. It's not good. So that's going to go, I would be an A tier, but just for that reason alone, I'm going to go ahead and have to stick it in B. Next we have the Sea Shroom. You know, you might be thinking like, oh, Hayden, you put the Puff Shroom up in S tier, that's where the Sea Shroom should go. And no. I know it costs 0 sun, but it takes forever to recharge. And in the water, it doesn't have enough range. It has the same range as the Puff Shroom, but it just doesn't work as well. It's not as expendable in the water because of its slow recharge time. The only reason I'm okay with my Puff Shrooms getting annihilated on those first 4 rows is because I can plant them again really quick. I don't have that same luxury with a Sea Shroom. However, I do find them really useful in fog levels. because I can plant them right at the base of the fog, and if they start firing, I know I need to beef up my pool defenses. So just for that reason, I'm gonna stick it in B. Hold on, I gotta answer a text message. Oh, perfect timing because my recording stopped. My best friend Adelaide Auger has texted me. Up next is the snow pea. So this is one that I used to love a whole lot before I realized the potential of the torchwood. I like this one in the early levels. Again, I don't love it anymore, but I don't hate it. I don't think it's like D tier. I think I'm going to go ahead and stick it in C. If it'll let me. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and stick it in C. I think it's useful, but it's not something that I would be like shitting and crying if I could not put it in my arsenal. Up next is the spike rock. This is different from the spike weed. My mom just called me a slag over text. That's just great. Thank you, Mom. Okay, anyway, period. So, spike rock. I really like spike rocks because they just absolutely obliterate the Zamboni and the bobsled zombies. And I like to put these right in front of a tall nut. That way I can just keep owning zombies left and right. I, however, don't love how high the recharge time is. And because spikeweed is almost as good, I think that I'm going to put spike rock in. I'm going to put it in B, and I'm going to put spike weed in A. The reason that spike weed is going in A is because it's so easy to get a line of those bad boys going, and they can't be eaten. They can only be crushed by Zamboni zombies. So really, in the end, like, they're so cheap, they recharge so fast, it's like a no-brainer. Next we got the split pea. These are really good for Pogo Party and the roof levels. The only problem is once a zombie progresses past a certain point in your roof levels, they stop hitting them. So if you can plant them close enough to the front defenses and they're protected enough to not get owned by the oncoming zombies, they do their job. They do it really well. This is also great if the zombies progress past and I'm like, oh my god, I really don't feel like having to replant that whole row of sunflowers. Let me just put this bad boy here. And it's not in my lineup very often because I would rather use Starfruit, but I'm going to go ahead and put it in C. Up next is squash. The squash is clutch in Vase Breaker, but in regular gameplay, the recharge time is so slow that it's rarely worth it. It's typically the best in pool levels. I usually get it just to crush those stupid dolphin zombies like I was talking about earlier. Sorry, I have a giant ass mosquito bite and it hurts so bad. All right, back to what I was saying. I think the squash is going to go in C. And I think I'm going to have to readjust my tier list because it's really staggered. Starfruit's going to go up in A for me. I like that it can fire in 5 different directions, but they're really only useful in the middle 4 rows. Just because at a certain point, like if it's on the top row, the one that fires up doesn't do anything. Same thing for the bottom. But I like that it goes in tons of different directions. It does need plants that can just shoot straight on, either in front or behind it to protect it, because if a zombie's walking at it head on, it doesn't fire, which is kind of unfortunate. But Starfruit, she's my girl. I love her, and she's just so cute looking. Look at her. Look at her little aesthetic one tooth. Up next is Sunshroom. Now, this I used to not like. I used to never use, but it's actually kind of underrated. If I can get 2 rows of sunflowers and I can get a row of Sunshrooms, I am absolutely chilling and have an arsenal. So for that reason, I think I'm going to go ahead and stick this in B. Because I don't use it a whole lot. I still don't totally reach for it. It's not something that if I miss it when I'm doing my lineup, I don't hit like restart and repick. But it's good for what it is. Sunflower, I mean, you gotta have this to play the game. That's just what it is. I'm just gonna stick it in C. I can't really it's so essential to the game, I can't really have an opinion on it, so just going in C. Tall Nut. I'm going to go ahead and stick Tall Nut in A. And I know I've been talking a lot about how I don't like plants that have really slow recharge times. And this is one of the only ones that I can let it slide. Because it protects against Pogo zombies. It protects against Pole Vault zombies. It takes forever to get through. And if you put a spikeweed in front of it, you can last like through a full flag with like just that. So that's why it's going in A. See, it's so hot in my room. I think I have heat stroke. Tangle Kelp, I really like Tangle Kelp. I really do. But the recharge time kills me. It's so cheap, but I gotta be... Oh. Oh. Okay, sorry. Let's get back into it. Okay, so Tangle Kelp. You know, it's really hard because it's really useful. It only pulls down one zombie, though. With things like the squash and the potato mine, if you can time it right, you can actually kill multiple zombies with that. You can only kill one with Tangle Kelp regardless of how many are on the square. I still use it a lot in the pool levels, though. It just is something that irritates me. So for that reason, I think I'm going to stick it in C. God. Okay, 3-peater. I think that the 3-peater could go in A, but only with the Torchwood, because it's so expensive and it only fires 1 pea per head. However, if you have 2 of those planted, especially in the pool levels, if you plant them in the water adjacent rows, you're set on all 5 rows with at least 1 plant. But you can't really do that early because you obviously don't have enough sun to do that. And if they're eaten, it's so annoying because you have to like work up all the sun to replace it. So for that reason, I also don't really reach for it very often unless I'm going into a later pool level. So I'm going to go ahead and stick that in C. I'm going to have to redo a lot of this because the rows are getting too full here. Torchwood's going in S. I mean A. S or A. I think it's going to go in S. I like it in Last Stand a lot. I like it in Last Stand a lot because it's 175, but like the Snow Pea's 175, and I think the Torchwood has way more to offer, especially if you have in your arsenal the pea shooter, the repeater, and the 3-peater, and you've got that bad boy. You're doubling every single damage, or you're doubling every single pea damage. It goes from 20 to 40 just with that. And the recharge time is so fast that you can plant all 5 pretty quickly or replace it if a zombie gets to it. The Twin Sunflower is going to go in A. I hate how slow the recharge time is, and I fucking hate that in the later levels, every time you use it, it costs 50 more sun to get if you want to plant more. I noticed that, and I was very annoyed by it. However, it's essential to my gameplay. I have this in mind every time. It's the second plant I always pick. I always pick Sunflower first, and this goes right after. It doesn't matter what level I'm playing. I need this. Even in the night levels, I keep it around just in case. The umbrella... I can't even speak English anymore. The umbrella plant. I used to not use this a whole lot, but playing this game again, starting it over from the beginning, these are pretty critical, especially in the roof, only in the roof levels. They're really important in the roof levels. They protect from the bungee zombies, but they also protect from the basketball zombies, which is underrated, because if I can have these protecting my whole row of sunflowers, and if I can get those twin sunflowers planted, I'm not even missing out on a ton of sun, which is awesome. Because, I can replace every other, lower level ones. But when a bungee zombie steals my twin sunflowers, I want to die. So I'm going to stick this in A. And I'm not mad about it. It's going in A. Well, let's go in and C. I like the Tallnut better. I don't really have a whole lot to say about it. It's good at what it does, but I like the Tallnut much better. And Winter Melon is going to go in A. I like that it can shoot with different rows. It doesn't stick to its one row, but you do have to have a full row, or no, you don't, sorry. You have to have a melon pulp planted to plant a winter melon on it. So if you don't have it, obviously you can't use it. And so sometimes it just kind of takes up room in your seed slots if you're having kind of a rough game. But I think that's going in A. So let's go over what I have here. So I think the C tier is looking a little bit crowded. So let's see if we can switch it up here. I think I'm going to move Magnet Shroom down to D. I really don't use it at all, because if I have good enough defenses, I can get a bucket zombie cracked before it even breaches that 4th square. I'm going to move the Sun Shroom down to C and move the Gatling Pea up to B. I don't like how slow it takes to recharge, but however, if I have that behind a Torchwood and a Tall Nut, I am freaking cleared. I don't even have to look at that row until the Tall Nut needs replacing. So, yeah. I think Walnut is gonna go down to D. I'm so sorry, little buddy. I don't use it enough to even like it's not in the same realm as the cactus to me. I think the the most C item I have is the cactus, so I think I'm basing my criteria for C tier on the cactus. So let's see what else. Garlic. I don't use it. I think I'm gonna have to move that down to D. D is becoming a popular tier. Again, I don't think it's in the same caliber as the cactus. Yeah. I'm going to keep the Hypno Shroom in C. I'm going to keep the Chili Pepper in C. I'm going to move the... I'm going to... I'm going to move the Snow Pea up to C. Or what the fuck am I talking about? Up to B, actually. And trade it with the Ice Shroom. Because the Snow Pea has consistent defense and it's not an instant kill like the Ice Shroom. That one disappears right away. And they have about the same recharge speed too. And if I have enough sun, I would rather have a Snow Pea than an Ice Shroom. I feel like I'm contradicting myself. I feel like I'm going to watch this, I'm going to edit this and sound stupid. Also, nobody gives a fuck about this. Like, let's just be clear. Nobody cares what I had to say about this. This game is so old. But I love it and it's near and dear to me. So, everyone can just suck it, you know? Anyway. Anything else I feel like changing? I feel like I might have been a little hard on the planter. I think I'm going to move that up to D. I feel like I was a little harsh with that. I don't think it deserves to be F tier because it can be very valuable. Especially because sometimes the fog in the later levels comes back really, really strong and like really quickly. And it's really annoying. So some like your planter can kind of just keep it at bay. So I can concede moving that up to D. But other than that, I'm loving this list. This is the Hayden Coppola 2022 Plants vs. Zombies Plants tier list bonanza. I love all my S tier plants, the cattail, the imitator, the kernel pult, the puff shroom, and the torchwood. Those are all awesome. I don't know if I clearly can't use them all together at the same time, but I love them dearly with all my heart. My A tier is looking really solid. And even B tier. I like everything in B tier. There's just things that keep it from coming up to A tier. But that is the final tier list. Woo! Chime off in the comments if you agree or disagree, but don't, because I will be upset. I don't like conflict. Please don't do that. Anyway, I've been talking for 40 minutes about something that nobody on this earth fucking cares about. Also, the lighting has been really interesting. This like just blinding bar at the bottom. I'm a pro. Yeah, let me know if you have any thoughts about any of this. And I'm going to hit you real soon with a real banger of a video. I may or may not have made a new account on my iPad for Plants vs. Zombies to see what I could do. I'm not saying I did, and I'm not saying I didn't. I have loved this game for forever. I love it. It's dumb, it's simple, but I love it so much. I love all the mini games. I love all the puzzle games. I love adventure mode. I love the graphics. And you know what? A big shout out to the Plants vs. Zombies wiki, because that place is the craziest corner of the whole internet. And most of my videos about this wouldn't be possible without it. So shout out to everybody arguing on Chomper's pronouns in the Plants vs. Zombies WikiHow. Chomper uses they, them, and good for them. This is Hayden, and this was a video. Have a lovely rest of your evening, guys, and I will see you soon. Love you!